Hi peaches, it's Shaaba, welcome back to my channel and thank you for clicking on another video. Quick shout out to our friend today, Pud the Spud. Pud, the pride, undivided dinosaur. I love him, I love him. This isn't a spawn, I'm just being a good wife. You can take a look at Jamie's bio for more information on Pud. For today though, you know exactly what we're doing. Settle in, grab yourself a cup of tea because we are going to be exploring the subreddit, Am I the A-hole? Why? Because it's a little bit of fun, it's a little bit of juicy drama, because it helps us expand our own mindsets and hopefully help some other people out along the way. Whether it be the people who have originally posted these who happen to come across this video, but definitely people who are going to be in similar scenarios, because my oh my, have I related to many an OP in my time. So you ready? Shall we dive deep into the a-holes? I think so, let's go. Am I the arsehole for refusing to tell my husband where I was after he jokingly kicked me out of the house for the night? There are so many things wrong with this title. I don't understand how anyone can jokingly kick someone out. That's like, abuse. Last night my husband had friends of his over. After I'd gone to bed, they were all still awake, drinking and playing games and being loud, which was annoying for me because I needed to get up for work this morning. When I went out to stop asking to make so much noise because they were keeping me awake, my husband said to me, "Go sleep somewhere else if you're so bothered." Oh, it was supposed to be a joke. He was quoting a show or something, but in the moment it very much pissed me off. So I did go across the hall to our neighbour's apartment and I slept there. Let's unpack this before we move on. Number one, my mind in that title went somewhere very different. This is not an abusive situation at all. I don't want to overuse the word. He definitely didn't kick you out the house. Not even jokingly kicked you out the house. He just said a weird comment. Number two, it's not funny, husband. Why would you say something like that? What show is it from? Even if it was from a show, was the show using it in a funny context? Because I don't see any way in which it's funny. How old are you guys? Because if you're old enough to work and to be living together and to be married, surely you are old enough and mature enough to understand that if someone has work the next day, you can't be super duper duper loud in a way that disrupts their sleep. Move somewhere else. Stop the party, or start the party earlier so it can be stopped earlier, or play quietly. But you know, it's a school night. We need to respect these things when there are other people in the house, okay? After a while, my husband started calling and texting me to ask where I was. I replied to one text only saying someplace else and then ignoring him after that. Is that petty? Yes. Would I have also been petty? Actually no, I don't think I would have done it. I was gonna say also yes. I would definitely have followed that up with I am safe. You've pissed me off, but I am safe. My husband saying I took it too far because I knew that he was just drunk and trying to be funny and I should have told him where I went because he was worried about me all night. Am I the asshole? Well, he clearly wasn't worried about how tired you'd be the next morning, and if he's really that drunk, he surely wouldn't have been able to comprehend or like see if you were being safe somewhere else anyway. So I don't understand why he feels he's entitled to that when he acted quite douchey, in my opinion. Having said that, I do think this is quite petty. I just think, like, if you love someone, why is this a situation where I feel like two wrongs don't make a right? I think it's because I think about myself and Jamie, and even when we are arguing, like in the worst argument moments, I would still always want to make sure that he's safe. Especially if OP is a woman, right? Like, I fear for the safety of women at night on their own. If you're sleeping on a park bench or something, or like travelling to a friend's house to go, I would worry about making sure that you got there safely. But I also wouldn't have left because they said something like that. I would have snapped back and been like, shut the f up, get the f out and let me go to sleep. Maybe I'm too harsh. I'm just saying that's what I would have done. Instead of leaving myself, I'd have made sure that the environment was a good place for me to sleep. But then if they really, really were not leaving and I had to go sleep somewhere else, I'd be like, I'm going to the neighbours. You're alright. And we're going to talk about this tomorrow when you are sober. So are you the arsehole? I'm gonna say everybody sucks here. Look, husband, the joke isn't funny. It's not nice to say that. I don't know if this is like biasing my opinion. I'm feeling some kind of way about OP saying that he jokingly kicked her out because that's not what happened at all. You chose to leave. Maybe that's just like hit a nerve or something. But you chose to leave. You weren't in a situation where you were kicked out at all. And I don't like that wording. But I do also think you have a responsibility even when you're really angry with a loved one just to make sure that you're safe. Because what happens if it happens again and you're not safe? You don't know of your safety. Do you know your neighbours? Well, I mean, surely you do because you've gone and like slept at their place. Tell your loved ones where you're going just in case something goes wrong. That is my thinking. I think it was a very disproportionate response to a very distasteful joke. You both suck, okay? In this scenario. What do you think? Is that controversial? I feel like that's going to be taken controversially, but that is how I feel. Should we see what other people have to say? Next time he should be an asshole to try and impress his friends. I agree. But I also just wouldn't have done it. This is just like a situation where I don't feel pettiness deserves to be in play. Maybe it would have been petty to another level, but I've been like, for that comment, get out. Your party's ending right now. Get out. You want to continue the party? You and your boisterous boys go somewhere else. Probably gonna be a hot minute before he makes that joke again. I agree, but also it's not a joke. It's just rude. Being drunk is not an excuse for being an ass. Being drunk often means that you lose your filter. He meant what he said. Ooh. I wonder if this is taking it too deep. I get it. When words are spoken, there's an element of truth. Even if you're saying it in a joking way, there's clearly something that he's meaning to say. I just think he was being stupid and obnoxious, and I think you were a bit silly in your response. The forum consensus seems to be not the asshole, but I personally just think they're both equally to blame. That is my verdict. Silly peaches. Let's move on. Am I the asshole for not waking up early and helping my mother-in-law with the chores? I'm a 25-year-old woman. I've been married for a year now, and it's customary in our culture that women stay with their in-laws after marriage. Are you South Asian? Because that sounds very South Asian to me. I didn't subscribe to this and told my husband, my then boyfriend, before marriage itself that I wanted to live separately. He agreed, since he himself wanted to live away from his parents and build his own life. Yay, progression. Yay, progression. But as a compromise, we would still visit them and stay at their place every couple of months. That sounds like a really good compromise to me. It's again customary that the daughter-in-law helps the mother-in-law with household tasks. The stench of patriarchy. I feel like me and OP would be friends. In our house, that's mine and my husband's, we are equals. We do chores together. In the in-law's place, it's always his mum that does the majority of the chores, and she's a stay-at-home mum too. We're painting a picture. I see it. When I'm visiting, I'm expecting to help her with the chores. Not my husband, just me. But I just rope him in as well. This is literally what I do. Whenever I used to go down to my nan's place, you'd always hear, Shaaba, come help serve the food. And I'd be like, okay, come on, Jamie. We just like go together, and he'd be the only guy helping out. And my nan would be like, oh, you don't have to. And he's like, no, I want to. And all of the other guys would just be sitting there, and he'd just be like, da 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 da. And I'd be like, da 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 da. The major issue is that everyone there wakes up at 5:30 to 6 a.m. That's the middle of the night. Who wakes up that early? That's way too early for me. Me too. Even on days when I have to work. Me too. Since we go there on my off days, I just want to sleep in, at least until 8, 9 a.m. Okay, so you're not saying like, I want to sleep in until 2 in the afternoon, which if you're visiting people, I appreciate would be considered, somewhat rude. But 8 a.m. sounds like a really reasonable time to wake up. Initially, they didn't say much about this, just a bit of snide comments that I let go, choose your own battles and all. But this morning, my mother-in-law made a big show of how I never help her with the chores. Let me clarify. She wakes up at 6 a.m. and finishes most tasks by 9 a.m. By the time I'm awake, it's all done. I help her prep, but that doesn't count to her. The fact that I don't slave away in the kitchen is making her mad. Interesting. I would not wake up that early. If somebody made me wake up at 5 a.m. to clean, you would have no head. I would bite it right off. It's instinctual. I wouldn't even have a choice in the matter. I would be so mean. I have a question though. In this response, I'd be like, look, you want me to help tidy? I will help tidy. I wake up at this time though. Otherwise, I'm just not going to be nice company. So why don't you not do half the tasks and I'll do them when I wake up? I realize that what I'm saying as well is also like not right, because guests shouldn't be cleaning, but then in Asian world, which is what I'm drawing my information from, you're not a guest. If you're a family member, you're expected to help out. So like, I probably still would clean, but I wouldn't be cleaning at 5 a.m. I'd like get up in my own time and then do it. But yeah, I wonder if that's a compromise, to be like, leave the jobs for me to do and I'll do them. She then went on a whole woe is me act. My husband, who normally supports me, also got mad at me. Oh, he also asked why I couldn't just wake up a few days out of a month earlier than I wanted to help his mum. When I said that he can help his mum since he wakes up anyway, he said that's not the point. He doesn't ask much of me and this is the least that I can do. Respect his parents when we're staying under their roof. This is a difficult one because I feel like we've had this conversation, the principle of the matter here, multiple times before. If you're a guest in someone else's house and they have rules that you fundamentally conflict with, what do? You don't want to disrespect them. My house, my rules, I get that. But at the same time, you don't want to disrespect yourself. So just don't go. Is that the answer? I feel like it's easier said than done, but maybe that is what needs to be said here. Just don't go. If you're like, look, I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm going to be really freaking grumpy, waking up at 5 a.m. to clean. I'm feeling spicy today. You clean at the time that I say we clean. I will clean at the time that I wake up. Or if you don't like that, I just won't come here to clean then. It's your choice. I got mad and told him that I don't want to stay under their roof and neither do I have to. With that, I packed my bags and left that place. Oh, you did it. Now my parents and husband are blasting my phone for overreacting. Am I the asshole? No, babe. I'm just going to put it out there. You're not the asshole. And you know what? If you don't break out of it, these rules that continue to hold women in particular back, because they really are based in patriarchy, they're stinky. If you don't break out of that, no one will. You're just going to contribute to the constant generation of feeling like we need to do things when there's really just no justification. Does it matter if the dust or the mopping is done 3 hours earlier? I just don't see any reason in why that needs to happen. Wake up at a normal time. Unless there is something happening at 9 a.m. The house absolutely needs to be cleaned at 5 a.m. because people are coming in every time at this time, but that's not what's happening. Traditions that are unquestioned are followed without people asking why. And when you do probe into the why, you realise that there's actually significantly better things that I'm sure even your mother mother-in-law would rather to just wake up, have a cup of tea, chill out, and then get on with cleaning afterwards. Watch the sunrise, listen to the birds, kabi kushi kapiyam. There's so many things that she could be doing that if she just stopped to ask herself why she was putting herself through that torment, let alone you too, she would realise that maybe it just doesn't need to be done. You'd all be so much happier waking up a little bit later. So no, I don't think you're the asshole. There is an edit here to all who are guessing, yes, I'm Indian. I know that many other cultures have this in common. Reading each of your stories makes me sadder and braver at the same time. Aww. It sounds to me like the forum's been nice. OP is Indian, so am I, and I'm a man. And this stuff in our culture literally boils my blood. Women here are considered to be subservient to males, and there's this whole ass teaching about how as a wife you're supposed to serve your husband and his family. I understand that the mother-in-law herself is a victim of the patriarchy and it's deep-rooted, but take it from someone who's seen 3 generations of women, my grandma, my mum, my aunts, my sister, slaving away for people who don't even have the basic decency of appreciating the sacrifices that these ladies made. OP is absolutely right in her stand. Who are you? I see why you've been given this award. I too give you brownie award. It's not really meant for other commenters, but take it. Take my brownie. If she bows down now, she has a lifetime of subservience ahead of her. Anyone in this post who calls her anything other than not the asshole is wrong. OP, if you're reading this is the hardest battle of your life, but you're gonna win this, okay? Slightly dramatic. Hardest battle of your life. An argument with the mother-in-law over the broom. I'm rolling with it because you have to break a generational curse and shatter this system that puts our men on a pedestal and treats our women as slaves. I hope my words reach all of you here because this is no small matter. This is about the future of a lady who is right now fighting for her very existence and self-respect. I'm sorry if that came across in a joking way. I'm kind of nervous laughing because I didn't expect this to be so powerful. But you know what? The point is a really good point and it stands. Is it a bit dramatic? Yes. But is it deserving of the mic drop moment? Also, yes. Well done. Well done. Oh, and I love it. I'm Indian too. I was in a similar situation to OP. It boils my blood too, the patriarchal nonsense, which I've never witnessed before getting married. It helps that I had a supportive husband, but he was too chicken to rock the boat, and since it was just a few days at a time visiting his parents each time, he wanted to keep peace. Keep the peace. This phrase, and do things their way. So the first 3 to 4 visits, he and his dad would spend the weekend just lounging around or doing grocery shopping at most, whilst I slaved away helping my stay at home mother-in-law, who worked way too much because that was her life. But they were really nice people in general, apart from this very traditional view of gender roles. So I started my slow rebellion. Each time a chore came up, I asked my husband to do it since I was too busy with something else, cutting vegetables, hanging out wet laundry, making his own coffee, lol. All this made my mother-in-law very visibly uncomfortable. She'd immediately say that she'd do it herself and stop my husband from doing the chore. After too many times, I confronted her directly. Ma, you don't believe in men doing household chores, is it? Every time you stop him from doing anything here. She floundered and tried to say it's not like that. He just wouldn't know how to do it. I said not to worry about that. He does the laundry and everything else in our house since both of us work. Plus, it's only if we do it that we learn how to. I love that. See, sometimes instead of going at a situation with anger and being like, the patriarchy, ma! Speaking to people on their level and in ways that they understand, it doesn't always work, but it clearly has in this situation. Since then, she consciously started letting him doing chores and many times even called him instead of me to do things. Oh! Our relationship has remained good as much as it can with our differences. This was almost 10 years ago. Now my father-in-law has passed. She stayed with us for 6 months. I had panic attacks thinking about how well we'd adjust, but it was pretty good. Oh, this is a roller coaster of a comment. I think this is longer than the Am I the Asshole OP post, but I'm so here for it. She didn't even blink an eye to see that my husband is the one who takes care of the kitchen completely. So yes, I'm glad I went about it gradually and didn't go nuclear on her because she's also a product of her time and her circumstances. I just had to open her eyes a little. I love that, and it's such an important point, particularly when dealing with people who have had different life paths to us and the older generation. We can recognise that they are a product of their time, but that doesn't excuse discriminatory behaviour in this time. It's about getting that balance right. I'm so glad you managed to find it. Oh, yay for all of the support on this post. I think this is like one of the most wholesome Am I the Asshole experiences that I've witnessed recently. Do we have time for one more? I think we have time for one more. Am I the asshole for laughing when my daughter was being rude? I'm a single dad to a 10-year-old girl. It's difficult, but I'm doing my best. Recently, my daughter and I moved back to my hometown and we're currently staying with my parents and brother until I find a house for us. A few days ago, my brother was getting ready to go on a date. He looked at my daughter and asked her, "What do you think, pumpkin? Do I look handsome?" I'm sorry, I was just thinking, is that inappropriate to ask a 10-year-old? No, it's cute, it's cute. And my daughter looked him in the eyes and asked, "Do you want an honest answer or do you want me to consider your feelings?" That's when I bursted out laughing. My brother didn't say anything and just laughed and left, but my parents weren't amused. They think that I'm an arsehole, and by not punishing her, I'm encouraging this behaviour. Oh my lord. This reminds me of all of these, I say skits in movies, I was literally in one of these skits, one of these movie scenes. My beautiful niece, so flippin' adorable, swore. I was like, Kids pick this stuff up. You can't stop life. You can teach them that they're not appropriate words, but you need to allow them to explore, especially if you forbid certain phrases. So just continue saying that. That's what kids do. Is it an arsehole move to laugh? If it's the first time something like this happens, I can totally see myself laughing because it would take me back. But the right thing to do as a parent is to not laugh and to be like, now honey, pumpkin, Beetlejuice. That's not a very nice thing to say. And then what you do is you go in the closet and you laugh about it after, not in front of the child. There are a couple of edits here that we should probably make note of. Just to clarify, my brother is a very handsome man. He knows it and he loves hearing it, which is why my daughter's answer was so funny to me. Yes, it would have been like really mean. I need to take myself out of that laughy mindset of hearing a child do funny things. Kids getting hurt and being silly are like my funny bone weakness. Stop it. Am I the asshole? Judge Shaaba. Truly, if the kid's uncle was really nervous about the way he looked and he was on a date and he wasn't the most attractive person by conventional standards, and perhaps he's been told that, you can see why that would be a not very nice thing to say. However, this context is very important because if he is very handsome and he knows it and he's quite vain, the kid's just playing along. You know, damage is not being done here. If anything, it's a reality check to knock someone down a peg or two and a funny story moment. I do think maybe in this instance it seems like the grandparents are taking things a bit too seriously. Maybe they will then go into their kitchen cupboards and laugh privately, which to be fair is the right thing to do. Opie also said here that a lot of people on the forum asked her what the honest answer would be, so he's asked his kid and she said that she thought he looked so handsome but didn't want to tell him. I guess it's gonna be fine because they're always squabbling like that, so I doubt my brother was upset with her answer. He laughed and he left. I doubt he's gonna be upset either. This was a cute one to end on. Why are you the asshole? You are the tiniest asshole, okay? I see how from a parent's perspective you probably shouldn't have laughed and you should have been like, no, that's not very nice. We don't say things like that. And she was also just being honest. She's thinking out loud, and maybe what you say to the child in that instance is, you know, sometimes we can say things and they might not be answers, but we understand what the answers are from the questions that we're asking. So for example, you saying this makes it sound like you think he's not very attractive right now. Is that really how you felt? And that could be like a really easy learning moment that could also have cleared up a bit of a mess. Or the kid knows, because the kid is 10, like she probably understands jokes and the impacts of what she's saying right now. Not the asshole. How can we possibly get mad at children for telling the truth as they see it? No, wait, hang on. I think this comment has got it wrong. We're not saying that the child is an asshole at all. The question is, was the dad the asshole for laughing at the child being 5-star hilarious? Honestly, at 10, I think that she's old enough to know that it's funny and be consciously doing sassy kid, but this is still true. I don't remember what it was, but my almost 2-year-old niece did something totally asshole-ish. I knew I shouldn't reward her with laugh, but I couldn't help it. I was apologetic to my sister for encouraging her whilst my ribs were aching from laughing so hard. We have all been there. Peach, this could be a really funny comment section. If you have a similar experience, I would so love it if you wouldn't mind sharing it downstairs in the comment section. Let me know if you've laughed at something that a child has done that probably shouldn't do, and maybe we can make this the safe space for all of the laughing so that we can keep our straight faces when we see the kids. And, you know, bank them so when they're older, you can then be like, haha, when you were younger, you did this really funny thing, and then you can laugh together and everything is very sweet and wholesome. The end. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more, and please do consider it if you haven't already. Most of the people that watch these videos are not subbed to this channel, and it would really help me out. Just put it out there. Thank you so much in advance. I'll catch you next time with another video. Be kind and have a great day. Bye.